Hi everybody, my name is Nancy, your health coach. Welcome to this afternoon's health coaching session. I apologize for being a few minutes late. It's been kind of hectic today, but here I am, and today we're going to talk about 7 ways that you can treat your anxiety naturally with nutrition, with your lifestyle, and with mindfulness practices. So for many of you, you already know. Hi Lisa, thanks for joining. Many of you know my story, so I won't go into too much details, but growing up, I was an anxious kid. You know, I think it's probably due to the fact that I was bounced around different foster homes and with with toxic visit with my birth parents, and a lot of uncertainty and insecurity and a lot of fear. So it resulted in me feeling really anxious growing up. And then, you know, in my 20s, not taking proper care of myself, you know, partying way too much. And then it just all caught up to me where I started experiencing panic attacks. And at that time, I didn't know any better, so I had to go on medication for 6 years, in fact. And I didn't want to go on medication because to me it was like it represented kind of like following the same footsteps as my birth mother, who was also suffering from mental illness, bipolar disorder, anxiety, and all of that. And to me, it was like a sign that I was one step closer to becoming like her, and I really didn't want that. But I didn't know any better back then, and because it was affecting my work, my profession, I was having a hard time functioning in my everyday life at the time. So I had no choice but to go on the medication. And then it took 6 years before I started realizing and implemented different strategies to help me heal my own anxiety naturally, and then to a point where I was confident enough to wean off the antidepressants safely. And if you are thinking of doing that, I would really encourage you and advise you to work with a doctor, because I worked closely with mine, and I weaned off very, very slowly and carefully. And even doing it that way was the withdrawals were quite horrendous. So definitely just don't assume that you can just wean off all at once without working with your doctor. So aside from that, what I've learned, essentially, I became a health coach because I developed a passion of helping others heal their own anxiety, and because that is my journey, and I want to share that with you guys in hopes to, bypass all of those. If I can help the next person suffer less, then my mission is complete. So the 7 ways to heal your anxiety naturally, and it's a process. It's not an overnight thing. That's probably why a lot of people, they rather just have that quick fix and go on medication, because they don't want to go through all of the process, and and I get it. I mean, when you're feeling anxious, you want instant results. It's a scary place to be in, and you want instant results, which is more like my work is more along the lines of preventing, but also to kind of shift it back into more of a peaceful state. So even if you are feeling really anxious, there is hope for you. Trust me, because I am living proof that you can really do this consistently and slowly, and it makes a big difference. So I love a tea in the afternoon. I didn't have tea for a while because it was so hot, but today's a bit cool, so I have a rooibos chai tea. It's so good. I like that in the afternoon. I like to talk with you guys and just pick a topic about what I experience, what I'm learning, what I like to share, and essentially my journey, and hopefully it helps you. And I like to connect with you like this 3-4 times a week, and hopefully it helps you. And 3 o'clock seems to be a good time for me. I'm done work and I get to come home. I get to sit down at my desk. I can pour myself a nice glass of tea. Before it used to be a nice glass of wine, but that's changed, and I get to be of service. So that really makes me feel good. But anyway, sorry. The 7 ways to treat anxiety naturally. Number 1, and if you can write this down, this is a really helpful tips. Exercise, exercise, it's not only about, getting in shape and getting fit and, increase circulation. I mean, all of those things are really great. But the reason I exercise is because I want to feel good. I know that if I miss my workout in the morning, it has an effect on my mood. And that's why my strong why to working out is to feel good, to set the tone during the day. So I start my day, my day off, either going for a bike ride, and make sure it's something that you love. It's very, very important. That's the only way it's going to be sustainable. So I love going for a bike ride. I mean, that's my number one workout. And next is running, or weight training, and I'm working towards doing like a 20-minute yoga in the evening just to calm things down. So that, because it releases endorphins, which makes you feel good, which when you increase your love hormones, your growth hormones, your love hormones, it reduces your fear hormones. So that's good to know. I mean, the more you can increase your endorphins, your serotonin, your oxytocin, and your dopamine, I mean, that you can really offset the fear hormone. So anyways, just keep that in mind. So that's number one. Number two is meditation. So if you haven't done meditation before, you really need to be patient with this practice, because it's in the word. It is a practice. A lot of people, they give up on meditation very easily because it's A, sometimes too boring, B, people feel like they're just restless, and C, they think that it doesn't work because their mind wanders and everything. But that's the practice. That's the discipline, if you will, at the beginning, because your mind will wander. The more it wanders, the more you need meditation. It's like what exercise does for your body, meditation does for the mind. It's like a consistent application of doing it every single day, if not every second day, but really does wonders in how to heal your stress and your anxiety naturally. And also fosters creativity. So when you're feeling when you're in a good state and you're in a fearful state, or if you're not stressed out, you'll notice that you'll be more creative. You'll think of ideas. You'll start thinking about. You'll make better choices. You'll remember things more. Like, it really does. It goes deeper than just relieving stress and anxiety. There's so much more benefits to meditation. And it's been well documented, really. Like, in the brain, you can see the shift in the brain's anatomy, how it really does calm down the amygdala, which is your fear response, your stress response. So it really sends signals to the amygdala to calm down. It really helps you focus, narrow down and like enhance your focus and your creativity and everything. So there's just a lot of data that proves that meditation is a real thing, and it does work wonders and on so many levels. So that's number two. Number three is quality food. I mean, who knew when I first started eating quality whole foods that I would start seeing a shift in my well-being, because I was working with a friend of mine. She was going through her own journey. She was trying to heal her depression with working out and eating the right foods, and just doing things that I was seeing the difference in her own well-being. So I'm like, oh, maybe there's something to this. So then I started adapting healthier lifestyle, and she helped me a lot, and I'm really grateful for that. So I just started learning and implementing ways to heal myself naturally with quality whole foods. So I've learned to crowd out processed refined foods like sugar, packaged foods, modern wheat, dairy, all those things, those pro-inflammatory foods that wreak havoc on your gut. And when it wreaks havoc on your gut, since 70% of your central nervous system, which is the which is basically plays a huge role in your anxiety and your stress levels, that lies in your gut. So when you can heal your gut, when you find ways to heal your gut with quality whole foods, it really makes a big difference, because there's different components to healing your anxiety naturally. I mean, there's the nutrition aspect, there's the lifestyle aspect, and then there's also the mindfulness practice, which is actually one of the steps. But anyway, so that is one that really made a big difference in my overall health and well-being, big time. Starting to make the connection about having, like, healing my gut. Like, I'm sure you've heard this, healthy gut equals a healthy mind, because it is directly, like, it's like your second brain. Your gut is literally your second brain. And your serotonin levels, like your growth hormone, your love hormones, lies in your gut as well. So that's part of the reasons why, if you do feel depressed and or this heaviness or this sadness or this like you're in the funk, you have dark thoughts, I mean, part of it is because your gut needs some healing. So I did that, a lot of that, and consistently. And I also I introduced supplements like ashwagandha, which is an adaptogen, which I've mentioned before, but it's a known adaptogen that helps to relax the central nervous system. Magnesium is a good one too, especially in the evening if you have a hard time sleeping. You can take it's called Calm. You can find it in any nature section in any superstore or Loblaws, and it's called Calm, and it's magnesium, and that helps to relax yourself and helps to calm you. And B12, chances are a lot of people who, maybe you don't know this, but people who suffer from anxiety or depression, they have a deficiency in vitamin B12 or B complex. So you might want to either work with a health coach or a nutritionist or a naturopath to really maybe assess you and seeing what's missing in your diet and what's not. So those things. Also, maca root powder is a really great one too. That's also a known adaptogen, but it helps to give you energy. So if you're, oftentimes when we feel anxious or when we feel depressed, we don't have that vitality, that energy. So that helps with that. The things that I've cut out eventually, took some time. The thing that took longest was alcohol. I mean, that was one thing that I had a hard time letting go, because it was not like, I'm not like addicted to the thing by any means. Like, I'm not an alcoholic by any means, but I was actually somewhat addicted to it because it was a way of socializing with friends. It was a way to relax in the evening. It was a way to, you had a stressful day, you take a glass of wine, and then one leads to 2 or 3 or 4. It's just like a slippery slope. But eventually I just found that I couldn't even tolerate even like 2. And then now it's like, I can't even tolerate like 1.5. So it's like, and that's because your alcohol is a huge one when it comes to triggering your gut. So that you just want to be mindful of that. So to really heal the gut, the things to cut out is to really pay attention to or eliminate or reduce at best sugar, refined sugar. You can substitute it with coconut sugar or maple syrup or honey, but the refined sugar, that's just something that's really it's a huge culprit to anxiety. Also, I would say modern wheat would be one, just because the way they process modern wheat is with a bunch of pesticides like glyphosate, which is known carcinogen, and a lot of the times they're GMO foods, which wreaks havoc on our gut. Dairy is another one too. It's a pro-inflammatory food. A lot of people are intolerant to dairy, just because the way that the animal is being raised, probably pumped full of hormones or antibiotics, just in the way that their living conditions are not ideal, so they become sick very quickly. So they they give them hormones and antibiotics, and then we then drink that milk, and then it's a really and just the way they're fed too. Like they're often fed corn, wheat, or soy, and those are the things that they don't usually naturally eat. They eat grass and other things, but not those things. But it's just because they need to mass produce, so that's what's readily available. And anyway, so those things, if you want to reduce that as at best or cut it out altogether, then that would help with your anxiety. And like I said, me, it took the longest was to cut out alcohol. And sometimes I'll have like a glass of beer or a glass of wine here or there and see how it plays out. Just for me personally, I don't know if I developed like a sensitivity to alcohol, or it's just my guts not having it. Like it just I had enough in my day, and maybe it's over it. I'm not sure. But of course, the more you heal your gut, the more you'll be able to tolerate certain things, but it takes a while before it gets there. Especially if you've spent most of your life eating those types of foods that wreak havoc on your gut. So those things. And then I would also suggest nature. If you can get in touch with nature as much as possible, it really grounds you. If you can go for like a nature walk 2-3 times a week, if you can, just to center yourself, just to ground yourself, just to get out of your head and into your heart, and just bring more presence. And a lot of times when we feel anxious, we often think of the future. We're not present. We're thinking ahead. We're thinking about the worst case scenario sometimes in the future, and it's very easy for us to think like that way lately, just because there's so much fear and uncertainty, and we don't see the silver lining to this whole pandemic. So the best way to help yourself do that is bring more presence in nature if you can, just by paying attention to what's around you, like really focusing on the trees, the leaves, the flowers, the ground. I even sometimes I'll hug a tree. I'm that person. I'm that tree hugger. I'll just hug a tree, and it makes a difference because the roots inside the ground, it's a grounding exercise. It really, really does help. If you are suffering from anxiety, try it out. It really makes a big difference. So spend time in nature. And number 5 is the gratitude practice. So I don't do it consistently enough. I want to get back in touch with that. But ideally is at the end of the day, you write 3 things that you're grateful for. But I mean, not think it, but really feel it and then write it down and be specific. Because the more you're specific, the more you're training your neurons inside of your brain to fire and wire together and then to be in a state of gratitude instead of in a state of fear and anxiety. So I highly recommend you guys do that. It really does make a difference. It's a practice. So I mean, you might miss a day or 2, but just get back on track and then just do it as often as you can. It does make a big difference. And then the next one is sleep. Sleep is a huge one. Actually, that should be the number 1 on my list, but I put it on number 6. But anyway, so sleep, quality sleep. A lot of people are having trouble sleeping because of our phones. We use our phones until we go to sleep, until we go to bed, and the blue light really how can I say this? But it really it inhibits the melatonin, our melatonin levels, which we need our melatonin levels to help us with a good night's sleep. So it really plays a huge role in that. And not only that, but I mean, we don't allow ourselves enough downtime. You see, when you have anxiety, when you suffer from anxiety, usually it's because the body is trying to communicate with us. It's a way of communicating with us. So if you're feeling anxious, and if you start doing these 7 things, you're going to start seeing a difference, because you're actually taking the time and nourishing yourself, and then just checking in with yourself and seeing what your body needs. And sometimes it just needs that downtime, you know? Like a lot of the times people don't like the downtime because then they're alone with their thoughts, and then that's when it starts to be kind of scary, you know? So, but it's a practice, and I really encourage you guys to have that downtime before bed. So maybe the hour of power, you have it first thing in the morning to set yourself up for the day, but then you also have the hour of power in the evening for downtime before bed to get a good night's sleep. Huge, huge, huge. It's important. We don't typically eat after supper, which gives our gut a chance to digest our foods properly, and then we are likely to have a better night's sleep. And I don't typically look at my phone 1 hour before bed. Sometimes I do. I mean, we're all humans. You're humans first. But I try to be more mindful on I'm actually working on that, like having an evening routine where I do a bit of yoga or stretching or meditation, gratitude, all those things before bed. That way it just seals the day, and then it sets me up for a good night's sleep. And the other one, the last one, number 7, would be a mindfulness practice. I that was a game changer for me. I mean, it all started with nutrition and exercise, but once I got into the game of mindfulness, personal growth and self-development, being more aware of my thoughts, my actions, my reactions, my habits, huge game changer. It's very important because that's how you live life on your terms, and that's how you're able to grab onto those tools and the strategies that you need. And when you do feel anxious, you know, it takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of practice, but it's well worth the effort. I've been off my medication now for 10 years, and I've been doing these practices consistently for the past 10 years, and it's been a game changer. And I'm not going to say here that I never feel anxious. I'll sometimes feel anxious, but it's usually because there's something that's missing. So I kind of check in with myself and see what's going on. What do I need in this moment in time? So when you feel anxious, take this time and do a bit of a deep breathing exercise, and go for a nice nature walk. Bring a journal on what's going on. Like tune in on what's going on. Like in those seven ways to treat anxiety, what are the things that are lacking in your life? Is it exercise? Is it meditation? Is it quality whole foods? Is it nature? Are you like always in the city, always busy, surrounded with constant noise, constant distractions with your phone? You know, that in itself is huge. And then downtime, you know, like developing a mindfulness practice, having some downtime. How's your sleep? How's your gratitude practice? All those things make a huge difference in preventing anxiety or kind of shifting your anxious being into a more peaceful state. So I hope this helps. If you have any comments or questions for me before I let you go, comment down below. And if you want to find out more, I spent the last year working on creating this amazing online course that I'm super proud of. I've put all of my thoughts, my knowledge, my experience into this course in hopes to help the next person reduce their stress. And also stress does affect our weight, so it really helps and educates you on how to how to lose weight and how to feel great and how to enhance your overall health, your vitality, how to live life on your terms, and all that stuff. So check it out. I can post it in the comment section. Super great investment. I think the number one investment that you can do is investing in yourself, in your knowledge, and in your growth and developing your ideal sense of self. So if you have any other questions or comments, if not, I will leave you to that. Have yourselves a great Thursday. Hi, Nat. And I will see you guys tomorrow morning for our morning show at 7:15, where Rock and I share a few insights. Actually, tomorrow's question and answer. So if you have any questions for us, then by all means ask us, and we would love to answer you. And till then, just have yourselves a fantastic day, and we'll see you guys tomorrow morning at 7:15 for our morning show. Bye.